Hey everyone, welcome to Moving Matt. We do all things cameras with a dash of vlogs and a little bit of travel. And this is Camera Wars, the show where we give you the latest camera news and let you know just how the battle is heating up. First up, Techtober is definitely upon us, and naturally when a camera company sets up an announcement video, you would assume it would be for a new camera announcement. But one company decided to
defy the moment
and instead announced that they are changing their name. OM Digital, aka Olympus, says that they will
henceforth shall be known as
OM System, which, with all due respect, that name is f***ing awful.
Whoa, I said with all due respect.
It sounds like a name you lifted from an employee handbook. I woke up early in the morning expecting a wow camera, and instead I got this.
Wow.
Now, with all that being said, they did hint that there would be a wow camera coming in the near future, and OM System, as terrible as your name is, I am still rooting for you. Next up, are you a creep? Do you need a tiny camera that you can quickly stick to almost anywhere? Well, DJI has you covered with the new Action 2. This camera allows you to capture up to 4K 20, so you can get that slow motion creeper footage you've been desiring. In all seriousness, this camera looks really neat and has some pretty impressive specs for its size. And also it has the ability, like the new GoPro, to get some ridiculously smooth footage that makes you wonder what Canon, Sony, and Nikon are doing with their life. If you're a more adventurous person than me or a creep, this looks like a solid buy. But speaking of a solid buy, Nikon has finally fully showed what's been up their sleeves. First, they announced two new lenses. The Nikon word I refuse to say, Z100 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6, which looks very interesting, especially considering the ability to add the 2x extender. This is slightly on the fat side and isn't anything groundbreaking, but it is a much needed lens and will be a very welcome addition to the Z mount. The second lens, which I personally would consider more intriguing, is the 24 to 100 f4. This could essentially be a catch-all lens for most situations, and it is reasonably priced at $1,100. But there is no reason to bury the lead any longer. Nikon's big announcement was the Flagship Z9, and a flagship is definitely what it was. The Z9 has a 45 megapixel BSI stacked sensor, shoots up to 20 frames per second uncompressed RAW, and up to 30 frames per second in JPEGs, and 120 frames per second if you want to drop it down to 11 megapixels. And the great thing about all this is you can use the autofocusing features in all these modes. And speaking of autofocusing, it actually works, and it works super well. It seems to be right on par with Sony and Canon in this department, but with the ability to track up to 9 different subjects, all in one mode. When it comes to video, the Z9 looks to be the new video king, offering up to 2 hours and 5 minutes of 8K 30 with 8K 60 and 8K RAW internal coming in a future update, which if I'm not mistaken, there was this one guy who said that 8K 60 was on the table.
But I'm not sure if they set in stone that it's 8K 30. It'd be cool if it was 8K 60. I'm not sure if that's possible, but with the bigger body, who knows, you know, they could probably manage the heat better.
So now you know that you can come for the camera news and the clairvoyance.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Moving on, the Z9 has 4K 30 HQ, which is downsampled from 8K, and they also offer 4K 120, which if possible, I would like to see them bump that up in the future as well. But the Z9 isn't all upside though. It is a much heavier and chunkier camera than the A1 and R3, and the EVF is nothing to write home about compared to the other flagships. With that being said, overall this looks like a win for Nikon, especially considering this comes in at $5,500, which is $500 less than the R3 and $1,000 less than the A1. So good on you, Nikon. I hope this translates down to your more affordable cameras in the near future. But while we are talking about the near future, it seems in the not so distant future we will actually be getting the mythological EOS R1, and Canon Rumors has compiled a list of what we can expect. Apparently this will be coming in the fourth quarter of next year, with the announcement possibly in the third quarter, and rumors ramping up early next year. Is unlikely to have a global shutter and expects that the readout speeds will pretty much negate the need for one. When it comes to who this camera is targeting, they say to think of a 5D series DSLR camera, so it's made for pretty much any situation. They have a source from a quote that says, "Is a jack of all trades and a master of none, except it's a master of everything."
That doesn't make sense.
So that's some interesting information, and it sounds like they're really going in a Sony A1 direction, kind of giving you a camera to rule them all. Apparently the design of this camera isn't fully nailed down, and as far as megapixels are concerned, they believe from a presentation they've seen that it will be over the 45 megapixel R5. When it comes to video, they say to expect 8K, but more details like frame rates they are unaware of. And finally, when it comes to cost, they say expect it to be more than the R3, but not a crazy expensive camera like previously rumored. So that is about all that Canon rumors know so far. What do you think about these specs? Do they sound about right to you? What do you expect from the R1? Drop in the comment section below and let me know. Well, that is the current state of the camera wars. If you'd like to see me go more in depth on the Z9, you can check out this video here, annihilate that like button, and consider subscribing for more camera content. And until next time, peace.